Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
That is awesome. That's right.
Sometimes people live into their names.
Willie.
Hi.
Hi.
Willie Ramirez, Associate Press, nice to meet you. I talked to some of the players yesterday at practice, I spoke to Tyler, just in general, some of the teams have one or two gone, none gone, you had six. So as you got 6 players in Paris. You
I'm
were
doing the math, Willie, from there.
It's okay, 6 plus 6. What was the toughest part, if there was any, to sort of get back in the flow as you're trying to get practices and conditioning, recovery, stuff like that?
I mean, I think for, our big four and Tiff and Meg haven't gone over there. They just communicate with me. I trust them, some of them practiced 2 days, some of them didn't. It's tough because just the timing of everything, in order to give them just a few days off to breathe and try to get back adjusted, it just didn't fall right. I don't like going like 4 or 5 days in a row without rest. And so being there's a back-to-back, it was just a weird schedule. So I'm curious to see how we come out, honestly. They look good. I think they're in a great mental space and ready to get going again.
You said going into the break that you were going to just watch a ton of film and just focus on that. When you kind of look back on the previous matchup with the Liberty, what kind of stood out to you that you really, I guess, emphasized to your team going into this game?
Well, there's a couple things that jumped out, X's and O's wise, but for me, I feel like sometimes I'm trying to put a Band-Aid on internal bleeding. So you have to figure out the whys. Some of it is X's and O's, but mostly is between your ears and in between your chest. That's where you win or lose.
Just to clarify, you mean that in terms of like the mindset, because like
Mindset.
yeah, the consistency and things like that.
Yeah. Because I mean, you go back and watch them, like, okay, are we getting open shots? Yeah. Could we play more unselfish? Yeah. Could we be more competitive at times? Yeah. I think last year a separation factor was like we just had edge. We had our little saying, aces versus everybody. And as much as adversity came against us, it just kind of brought us closer and closer together. And I would say there was some adversity in the first half of our season. So, I told them it's 0-0. Let's go out and play.
Last one, also, going into this break, there were questions surrounding Kate Martin. She'd gone down in that game. It looks like she's okay, like a full participant in the practices we were able to see.
Mm-hmm.
What has that process been like, and what's her availability today, as far as you're aware?
She doesn't have any restrictions. She looks good, and her process was giving her rest at first. That first portion. A lot of our players got some little maintenance, I guess, stuff done during the break, especially early, and then letting those things kind of settle in and then get them moving again. So everybody got about 10 to 12 days off, and then it was back in the gym and just ramping them up from individuals, but also 3-on-3, 4-on-4, and just ramping them up eventually to 5-on-5.
You mentioned the edge factor, especially the edge this team had last year, and I know you don't like hypotheticals, but
you're going to ask me one anyways.
Absolutely. If this team was as dominant during the first half as it was last year coming back from the Olympic break, do you think maybe it's to your advantage that they're a little more hungry, there is possibly an edge, they're feeling it and chasing 4 teams rather than coming back complacent on top of the league?
You're right, in my pigsty. I mean, I'm not used to being the front runner. Being first the whole time is abnormal for me. I don't mind being an underdog because I think that position does give you an edge. I think, like I said, it's really hard to, that's why it's hard to accomplish. That's why it hasn't been done in over 20 years in any professional sport. It's hard to do because like last year, we have 3 people having really career years between Jackie, Chelsea, and KP. And now this year, Asia's going off the charts. And so it's really hard to capture sometimes. That's why they call them career years, because they're rare. It's like it's extraordinary. And so now I feel like just basketball wise, we're kind of brought down to earth a little bit. We're not playing like out of this universe. Last year, and I thought like our team and everybody just got taken for granted a little bit. They were so freaking good. They were so good. First in offense, first in defense. And here's what everybody has to learn. Last year is last year. You gotta come and you gotta do it all over again, day after day after day. And like I tell them, please don't get tired of doing the little things that make you great. And people can get tired of doing the little things. And even in a relationship, is it that one big thing or is it a bunch of little things? Most of the time, it's a bunch of little things.
Anything from back? All right, thank you very much.
Well, God, thank you so much.
You're welcome.